Hey guys, this is Bryson Morris. I'm going to show you a few laps at New Jersey Motorsports Park from one of my races last year in F4. Currently I'm in FR this year. So you can follow me on social media on mainly Instagram, Bryson_Morris3, and then Facebook as well, Bryson Morris Racing. You can follow me there. And then here we are at New Jersey, a few laps around for one of the races there. Just giving you a little bit of insight from the first opening laps here. So pulling up to the grid, got my mechanic on the radio letting me know, so we can see me creeping up a little bit closer. Once he says stop, you can see me hit the brakes hard and the car kind of jolts forward. So at this point, we're kind of just looking in the mirror, seeing all the cars lining up behind us and waiting for the 2 green lights on the light stand for the starting lights. So kind of just waiting around, messing with whatever, I don't know, I like to mess with my visor a little bit. So we get the green lights and we're going straight to the red lights. Once we see 3 red, we floor it, lights out, dump the clutch, here we go. Bit of a poor start there, had a bit of wheel spin, and so here comes one of my teammates challenging me up beside me into turn 1. It's very hard to hold the outside here, so really just gonna have to give up the spot. It's a pretty disappointing start, to be honest, but it's a long race, so I know I can make up the spots in the long run. So kind of just sitting here, tucked in, follow as close as possible through this technical stuff. You really want to look through the cars so you can drive your own line and not have to do what they're doing, and if they make any mistakes then you would follow. So that's a pretty not good thing to do. So what you want to do is just try to follow your own line, but be aware of the cars around. Like there, he brakes a little bit earlier than I was expecting, so had to get on him pretty hard. Get a good run out of this corner, but it's really not the best passing spot, so I kind of opt to back out a little bit and kind of save my tires just a hair, because really you're not going to be getting any passing done in this section of the track. So just trying to not lose any more positions, so I'm already down from 4th to 5th. Kind of stacks up there a little bit, but that's almost good for me, so I can stay closer and try to just focus on this exit here. It's very important. As you can see the marbles flying off the tire. It's very high dead corner for that tire. It destroys the tire, and so you want to just be very careful, especially when you're following that close, so you don't get the effects on the wing as much.
Can you hear that hitting your visor?
No, you cannot hear that stuff flying around, but you can see it, so it can be visually distracting. And
now what are you doing here when they go side by side like that?
So,
do you know something's about to happen?
Yeah, so at that point you can see they're fighting very hard, and you can see, honestly I think they both made a bit of an oversteer mistake, so you know one of them is going to end up going out a bit wide. So when you see something like that, you want to just back up, be a bit cautious, and just see how it pans out. If nothing bad happens, then you only lose a bit of time and you just played it safe. But it can be very bad if you go full pushing when someone does something like that. So you just want to be a little bit patient and see how it pans out. And here it worked out a little bit for me. I was able to gain a position. Now I'm up behind position 3, just trying to gain up as much as that time as possible and make a move on him down the front straight.
Now when you're doing this well in the championship and you're kind of later in the season, are you just trying to make a podium? Are you just trying to get as many points, make sure you don't knock yourself out?
Yeah, so at this point I was very, very, very close to first in the championship. I think less than 10 points I want to say. But I can see my championship rival, both of them, they're in first and second, so ahead of me. So I'm really focused on just finishing and playing it safe, but also getting past this car just to maximize the points. So we see he goes defensive here, and I know the outside is not going to work, just going off of the last lap of what we saw there. So I kind of back off a little bit. I'm still right on him, but I know I'm losing a bit of time, so I've kind of got to make quick work of this, but once again, I can't play it too risky, so I want to finish the race and get the points.
And how frustrating is it to see 1 and 2 starting to kind of take off and knowing that you've got to get around this car?
Yeah, it is very frustrating, but you've got to just play your own race, keep a cool head, and see how it pans out, because mistakes happen. Like, something can always change up front, and you can't help that. If they go perfect race, then that's what they do. You can't help with that. So you just got to focus on what you're doing and being as good as possible and just trying to get past this car in front. And if you can't do it, then you can't do it. You've got to just sit in 4th like I am here. It's not the worst spot to be, because I'm not hurting my tires as much by being a bit further back. But you'd always obviously like to be up in first. So here we got the same thing again, just going for the good exit on the long straight. It's a flat from here all the way down to turn 1, so it's a very good passing opportunity. The draft works very well here as well. So as you can see, I've already half the distance, so he knows that I'm going to be...
I want to go back to this first lap, turn 1. Have you walk us through that again. You mind doing that? So we're going back. This is first lap going into turn 1 where the 2 leaders go side by side.
Yes. So here we are in 5th position. We can see the 2 cars right in front of me. One goes defensive and the other tries to go for the outside. And at this point, I'm just trying to play it safe, see how it pans out. We can see the car on the inside goes a bit more. The car on the outside looks like it got a bit loose, and then unfortunately got up on the curb, kind of bottomed the car, and that kind of sent him off the track. So it's very important to know your surroundings and not try to pass on the outside on corners like that, because if you're even a little bit too wide, the cars are so low, so they can bottom on the curbing. And once that happens, you're basically a passenger, as we saw there. It's almost nothing you can do. You just gotta hope you don't spin and try to control that as much as possible, but you're probably gonna go off, especially at turn 1 in New Jersey. All right guys, that was a few laps around New Jersey Motorsports Park from one of my races there. It's very fun track, very good to race at, and yeah, thank you. You can follow me on my socials on Instagram, Bryson_Morris3, and then on Facebook as well at Bryson Morris Racing. Thank you.